Hello. Hi. I think people are coming in. Great. Can you guys hear me? Wave if you can. Hi. Hi, Anirudh. Okay, great. So let me just get started. Thanks for joining me today, and welcome to my studio. I'm grateful for this opportunity to SPACE118 for helping me make this set of works. My name is Sasha, and I'm a contemporary sculpture and installation artist based in New Delhi. My practice is based around abstract-oriented artwork. And when I'm not collaborating in the field or working on a project, I make sculptures and digital content and paintings from my studio. Today I'm going to show you how I made a series of acrylic paintings for the SPACE118 grant by walking you through its process and talking about its conception. This is my friend Nausheen. She's going to be helping me out today. She's a filmmaker. You should check her profile out too. We actually made this painting right here together, where she's making a documentary film about it. And I thought I'll start by talking about kind of like the biggest elephant in the room, which is that machine. So I'll just give the camera to Nausheen. And yeah. So today, let me introduce you to the Centrifugal Machine. This is a modified pottery wheel that spins these canvases. So I can show you how it spins. The canvas is bolted on with a jig that I made, and I'm gonna just get it connected. Sorry about that. So this is, I'm using centrifugal motion in this, where there's a single axis of motion which kind of creates these patterns. And I decided to work with a fluid acrylic style of painting, which in its nature is very chaotic. You have to be really careful that you don't like hit the corners of this, because the machine is designed to not stop. And so it can really like kind of shatter a bone if it goes through it. But I've developed like a couple of control mechanisms to make sure that I can control the acceleration and deceleration. And there's like a set of like tools that I have over here to regulate the machine as well. Typically, I have 2 axes of rotation on each painting that I make. So this one was the first, and then I make these like contraptions of different sorts to then kind of fill paint in, and then I can rip it out and create these other motions by kind of like creating these like swinging motions. And when they pair with the rotation, it creates like this almost outward moving axis of rotation that I kind of found to be key in making like this balance of order and chaos. And that's kind of what I've been trying to balance throughout the making of these paintings, which is like mechanisms of control and elements of chaos. So let me show you some of the other things that I do to add more control to it. Like for example, I designed all the paintings using like these color palettes that I first kind of start out working with digitally, and I can kind of really choose each hex value, and then I print it out and put it onto the board, and then I kind of start making the process onto canvas physically by like first testing out a bunch of colors, then waiting for them to dry, testing out like multiple ones, and then it slowly kind of refines down to like one color palette that I've tested out. All the colors are made using primary colors, but there are some like metallics and stuff that I like to throw in to add like a little bit of extra zing that I can't really make by myself. But I do have a set of tools that I kind of orchestrate movements for each painting before I do it, and these are some of those tools. This is like a butane torch and like some palette knives. This is actually the bolt that holds the canvas in place so that it doesn't fly off when I'm spinning it. These are like some of the other remaining painting tools that I use, like some like ice cream sticks and stuff that help me mix the paint better. Let me walk you out and actually show you that this room was first designed as my living room, and then I had to convert it to this studio because the machine was really big. So I'll take you to the studio to show you how each of the different elements of the pre and post production. So this is actually the room. It kind of ended up looking like a scene from Dexter, or maybe one of his killing rooms. I don't know if any of you watched that, but let me take you to the studio, which was originally my studio, and this kind of became the varnishing room, where like the painting can be mounted and framed and varnished beforehand onto like these custom boards. And I do all the varnishing and framing myself. I actually am also working on designing some varnishes by like mixing and matching to create different looks onto the same canvas. These are all just different elements of layering. Even on that wall, you can see these prototypes that I made of the contraptions that swing from the ceiling, and they help me. They kind of help me visualize what the outcome is going to be like. I can also show you some of the other stuff that I've been working on. So these are some brass casted objects that I made a few years ago during a workshop in Woodstock School in Missouri. It uses like a very old form of casting. This one's called metalhead and this one's called stargazing. I'm also working on a bunch of resin projects. I like working on my bike, and this is like a custom part that I'm trying to fabricate and edit to modify the bike. Here's like a bone carving that I made, which actually spins like a thaumatrope, and it was recorded and then projected onto a screen in Bangalore. I also used to work kind of only with tape at one point, so I've made like these bunch of tape artworks using on glass, and there are like some prints from a photographic series that I worked on in Germany. These ones, they're all. I like to experiment with like different kinds of printing. So these ones were printed on gloss. This is like matte archival. After I'm done varnishing this painting, typically I will remove it from the board, and then it ends up being like finished like this. And the next step would be like choosing the frame. While I'm making the paintings, because they're abstract, I also have to kind of figure out what orientation they are, how I like them, and like what way I use to work, and how I like to use these paintings. So usually I'll put up a finished painting onto this wall in my room, where I can kind of like wake up to it and go to sleep to it, to kind of rotate it and understand the parts that I can't that weren't in my control, that maybe I don't like, and kind of choose to edit them. So depending on how I do that, I can make a choice to like add in another layer to cover it up or to change it, or I can like look at accepting that chaos is kind of part of the process. So
there's a question.
Yeah, sure. What's the question?
The question is, do you think of your contraptions as kinetic sculpture? Is the making of your work performance? By Neha.
Yeah, so that's a good question, Neha. I think I do really like the idea of kinetic sculptures. I even collect some myself. But I'm not sure. That's a really beautiful thought. Maybe I should thinking about these works like that. I kind of use them as like a process or a part of the making, and that's how I think about them. But it's a great idea. And yeah, actually I document a lot of this stuff with like a triple camera setup at the very minimum. Noshin actually documented one of the setups with like 5 cameras in total. And so then with the addition of the camera, they do kind of become or go into this performative space. But yeah, I'm working on I'm trying to work on making that a possibly a live event that I can do in front of people also, and transport my setup over there.
There aren't any more questions.
Okay, so I think this is like all I have to talk about today with the paintings. And if you have any more questions, I'd love to like hear them now. Or you can hit me up on my Instagram, Sasha Y. That's SASHAWHYY.
Anirudh is asking, when can we see these videos?
That's a good question. So you can see the promo on Instagram, on SPACE118 or my profile. The videos are going to take a little bit of time to develop because I need help to make them. They're like very heavy files, and I have to like have the system or like the friends to help me do that. So maybe I think in the next like 3 months or so, I hope.
Neha says, lovely space, Sasha.
Thanks Neha.
I think we show them this painting a little bit close up.
Yeah, sure. Do you want to see like some of the details of this painting? This is SCE 4. So as you can see, kind of with each painting, when I start the painting and make it, I do lose like a lot of semblance of control. And with this semblance of control, I also have to accept that all the order that I am adding to it is now something that I might not have as the outcome. But I like to choose these topics because they affect me personally also. And you may have seen that throughout the walkthrough of my room and my space. There are these crazy chaotic places, and then and then there are these like organized spaces. So it has kind of just exploded. The project kind of exploded out into my house also, and chaos is something that is big in my life too. But that's all I have to share for today. I'll wait for like another maybe 15 seconds or so if there are any more questions.
How do you decide when to stop?
Oh shit. That's a good question. So I decide when to stop kind of on gut or intuition. There's no set parameter.
Why don't you talk about that painting?
You have to actually when to stop was something that I explored with this painting that's currently on the board, where there are actually 3 layers to it, which is the blue layer, then this like huge yellow layer, and lastly the green layer, which I added almost 2 weeks after I thought I'd finished the painting. Sometimes if you try to push it too hard, then you kind of get greedy and lose it, but it's like there's an element of chance there. So yeah. Okay, that's it. So speaking of stopping, I think this is the time to stop. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you to SPACE118 for giving me this opportunity. I'm Sasha. Bye.